Hello, everyone. So today we're going to talk about the most terrifying creatures in all of human history. I'm talking about those super strong and super tall beings known as the Nephilim. If you know anything about the Nephilim, then you already know that they are incredibly scary. They were born from the offspring of humans and angels, which is already scary enough. And then add to that the fact that the Bible says that they were around 6 cubits tall, and you've got yourself a creature to be reckoned with. Now, we do not know exactly how tall the Nephilim were, because we do not know exactly how tall a cubit was. We know that 1 cubit was roughly equal to 1 forearm length plus 1 hand span. But there are different theories on how many cubits made up a man's height. Depending on who you ask, a cubit could have been anywhere from 18 to 22 inches long. So if we use the higher end of that estimate, the Nephilim would have stood somewhere between 9 and 11 feet tall. That's almost like being a giant, right? But despite their intimidating size, the Nephilim were far from simpletons. They were incredibly intelligent and skilled, and they used their powers for good, or at least for what they thought was good. You see, the Nephilim were born from a union between humans and fallen angels, but they weren't necessarily evil. In fact, the Bible says that they were beautiful and powerful, and they had a profound knowledge of the universe. They knew things that humans couldn't even dream of, and they used that knowledge to build great cities and to help people in ways that they never could have imagined. Some people think that the Nephilim were actually the ones who built the pyramids, while others believe that they were responsible for the ancient megaliths that are found all over the world. The Nephilim were also said to have been incredibly powerful, and they used their powers to protect the people who lived during the time when they walked the earth. They were like superheroes, only more powerful and more knowledgeable. They could do things that normal humans couldn't even comprehend. And they used their abilities to make the world a better place. But it wasn't all good, though. So you probably already know, the Nephilim were eventually wiped out by the great flood that happened around 4000 BC. This event is described in the Bible as a time when God decided to cleanse the earth of all the evil that had been growing in the hearts of mankind. But it was also a time when the Nephilim were wiped out along with everyone else. You see, the Nephilim were considered to be a threat to the balance of creation because they were so powerful, and because they knew things that humans shouldn't have known. Their existence was seen as an abomination, and God decided that the earth would be cleansed of them too. And that brings us to the question, did any of them survive the flood? Well, let me tell you something that might shock you. Some people believe that they did. They say that some of the Nephilim managed to escape the wrath of God and live out the remainder of their lives in hiding. They say that these survivors changed their names and their appearances so that they could blend in with the rest of humanity. And they say that some of them even went on to become leaders and influencers in human society. Now, this may sound like a far-fetched theory, but there are some interesting texts out there that seem to suggest that it might be true. One of these texts is called the Book of Enoch, and it tells the story of the Nephilim from a slightly different perspective. According to this book, the Nephilim were actually the sons of God, and they were punished by God because they forgot about him and turned away from him. The book also says that the Nephilim were giants, and that they were incredibly wicked and violent. It says that they were so bad that God decided to send a flood to wipe them out, along with all the other sinners on the earth. But here's where things get interesting. The Book of Enoch also says that some of the Nephilim did survive the flood, and that they went on to live among humans. It says that they became teachers and leaders, and that they shared their knowledge with humans. But it also says that they kept their true identities a secret. Now, we don't know exactly why they did this, but it's possible that they were afraid of what humans might do if they knew the truth about them. Or maybe they wanted to use their knowledge and power to control humans. Whatever the reason, it seems like some of the Nephilim managed to survive the flood and live among humans in secret. Another text that seems to support this theory is the Quran. In the Quran, the Nephilim are referred to as the jinn, and they're described as being powerful and knowledgeable beings that can take on human form. The Quran also says that some of the jinn survived the flood, and that they continued to live on earth in secret. Now, some people might say that these texts aren't reliable sources, but they offer an interesting perspective on the Nephilim and their possible survival of the flood. It makes you wonder if there really are some Nephilim walking among us today, living their lives and sharing their knowledge with us in ways that we don't even realize. Now, let's be real. There is no way to know for sure whether or not some of the Nephilim managed to survive the flood. But the idea is certainly intriguing, and it makes for some fun speculation. After all, The Nephilim were some of the most powerful and knowledgeable beings that ever lived, and it wouldn't be surprising if some of them were able to escape the wrath of God and live out the remainder of their days in peace. Maybe they're living among us right now, blending in with the crowd and using their powers for good. Or maybe they're hiding in the shadows, waiting for the day when they can return to power. Who knows? What do you guys think? Did some of the Nephilim survive the flood? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every week, so there's always fresh content for you to enjoy. And if you want to support me and my work, consider becoming a member. With your support, I can keep bringing you guys the videos that you love. Thanks for watching. Take care.